If you are over 40 and you drink coffee every day, this drink can either prolong an active life or accelerate problems with blood pressure, the stomach, and the genitourinary system. The difference is only a few cups. I am Dr. Maria Nikolskaya, a general practitioner with 10 years of experience and a professional nutritionist. I place a cup of aromatic coffee in front of me. It is not just a drink, but a complex biochemical cocktail that immediately gets to work in the body. Coffee goes beyond the morning ritual. It is a powerful biological regulator. Its effects on men and women differ greatly because of hormonal background and the anatomy of the genitourinary system. Let's figure out why the same fuel provokes different reactions. Write in the comments M if male, F if female, and how many cups of coffee you drink per day. Let's discuss your norm. Caffeine and hundreds of compounds in the beans interact with the body in unique ways, especially when sex is taken into account. Today, we will look at the subject from 3 key angles so you can see how coffee works specifically for you. Firstly, gender differences. Coffee supports men's prostate health. For the female bladder, it becomes a source of irritation. It affects the delicate hormonal balance in women, either strengthening or disrupting equilibrium.
Secondly, the YouTube doctor's voice clearly pronounces the text of the videos with the correct intonation, taking sighs and pauses like a good announcer. Secondly, the neuroprotective effect. A few cups a day form a shield for brain cells, pushing back the threat of diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. You will learn how this happens in practice. Thirdly, hidden risks depend not on sex but on weak spots: blood pressure spikes, inflamed stomach lining, fragile bones. By the end of the chapter, you will weigh all the pros and cons for the body and find your personal boundary between benefit and harm. Ready? Let's dive deeper. Alex, 45, came to see me. His hand trembled slightly as he handed over a packet of tests. He was drinking 5 to 6 strong espressos a day, fueling himself with them on the go. He ignored the slight palpitations after the 3rd cup, blaming it on stress. One day at his desk, the world blurred before his eyes, and a heavy hammer began to pound in his temples. It was a hypertensive crisis, the final chord of a long game with blood pressure. A week later, Maria, 38, sat in the same chair. 3 lattes a day, her norm. She complained of constant urges to urinate with burning, as if small, sharp pebbles had been poured into her bladder, and a dull ache in her wrists that woke her at night. Cystitis became her constant companion, and her bones began to lose density, approaching the threshold of osteopenia. These are stories about how the body cries for help, and we drown out its voice with another portion of a stimulant. Why does this happen?
The YouTube doctor's voice clearly pronounces the text of the videos with the correct intonation, taking sighs and pauses like a good announcer. Caffeine fits into certain lock-like receptors. In 40% of women diagnosed with overactive bladder, this key turns easily, sharply increasing contractions of the bladder walls. A drink that was a friend turns into a provocateur, worsening all the symptoms. For the stomach, excess caffeine acts like acid on bare metal. Consuming more than 500 milligrams per day, roughly 5 cups, increases the risk of developing gastritis by 60%. The mucosa doesn't have time to recover and remains defenseless. Symptoms often remain in the shadows, muted by the stimulating effect. In men with excessive use, libido fades and episodes of erectile dysfunction occur. The body reallocates resources to cope with stress. Women notice more frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom. This is nocturia, which they attribute to age or the cold. General warning signs: a fine tremor in the fingertips, unwarranted anxiety creeping up from the chest, treacherous insomnia, even if the last cup was drunk in the morning. Ignoring this quiet rebellion leads to serious consequences. Episodic hypertension becomes persistent and requires daily pills. Stomach irritation develops into peptic ulcer disease. For women, especially after menopause, calcium loss accelerates, bringing bone fragility closer and increasing the risk of osteoporosis. We are losing time. Prevention of neurodegenerative diseases works effectively, and protecting the brain requires action right now. The body is always having an honest conversation. Our task is to learn to hear it through the noise of everyday life and the aroma of a favorite drink. Coffee interacts with the body through molecules and cells. Caffeine acts like a key to receptors. In men, it activates protection. In women, it disrupts balance. The difference depends on the context within the body. In the brain, adenosine accumulates during the day and slows activity. Caffeine resembles adenosine, takes its place in the receptor, and blocks the brake. The nervous system is excited, the body releases dopamine. Thoughts clear, strength returns. The bean contains more than 1,000 compounds, including polyphenols. The polyphenols, cafestol and cahuel, are beneficial for the male prostate. They activate enzymes in the gland cells, neutralize carcinogens, and destroy damaged cells. Caffeine improves blood flow in the pelvis. The Harvard School of Public Health followed nearly 50,000 men for more than 20 years. Those who drank 6 or more cups a day had a 60% lower risk of fatal prostate cancer. In women, caffeine binds to bladder receptors and stimulates the detrusor muscle. Contractions become more frequent and internal pressure increases. In menopause, the mucosa thins due to declining estrogens. A meta-analysis in the journal Menopause in 2020 confirmed caffeine intensifies urinary tract symptoms in women over 50.
The YouTube doctor's voice clearly pronounces the text of the videos with the correct intonation, taking sighs and pauses like a good announcer. Caffeine weakly binds to estrogen receptors and causes imbalance in the endocrine system. In a healthy young woman, the effect is unnoticeable. With polycystic ovary syndrome, endometriosis, or premenstrual dysphoric disorder, symptoms worsen. Mood swings, breast tenderness, fluid retention. Now let's examine the myths. First myth: coffee dehydrates. Caffeine produces a mild diuretic effect, but the body adapts with moderate consumption. 1 to 2 cups fit into the daily fluid balance. Only liters of coffee will cause dehydration. Second myth: coffee causes cancer. 30 years ago, coffee was suspected of being carcinogenic, but the data refuted that. The International Agency for Research on Cancer removed coffee from the list of carcinogens in 2016. Coffee reduces the risk of liver, endometrial, and prostate cancer thanks to antioxidants and polyphenols. Third myth: the harm of coffee comes only from caffeine. Acidity from chlorogenic acids irritates the stomach and stimulates gastric juice. For gastritis, choose a cold brew or a dark roast with lower acidity. Caffeine reduces calcium absorption and increases its excretion, but the risk to bones arises with large doses and a calcium-deficient diet. Understanding the mechanisms helps you avoid risks and use the benefits. Knowing how caffeine works, open the doors you need. All right, we've covered how coffee works internally.
Now let's consider what to do about it. Turn knowledge into practice. Don't give up your favorite drink. Don't pay for it with your health. Let's go through it step by step. Let's start with supplements that compensate for coffee's side effects. The first is calcium citrate. Dose 500 to 600 milligrams per day. Take it separately from coffee, at least 2 hours before or after. Coffee increases calcium excretion in the urine. This is relevant for women in perimenopause. The supplement protects the bones when drinking more than 2 cups a day. The second supplement is L-theanine, an amino acid from green tea. Take 100 to 200 milligrams with your morning coffee. It preserves alertness, takes the edge off, reduces anxiety, and eliminates hand tremor. You focus without nervousness. Now, lifestyle changes. Women with frequent urination should try Kegel exercises. They strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. This reduces symptoms of an overactive bladder and provides control. Do them anywhere, sitting at a computer or standing in line. For everyone who values sleep, the rule is simple. Drink your last cup 8 hours before bedtime. Going to bed at 10 p.m., the limit is 2 p.m. Caffeine disrupts deep sleep, even if you fall asleep. The body doesn't recover, and in the morning you reach for another serving. Break that cycle. Quick wins show results in 3 days. Replace the second and all subsequent cups with decaf or chicory. In women, the load on the bladder will decrease, urges will lessen. In people with sensitive blood pressure, the post-lunch tachycardia will go away. This is substitution, not rejection. Keep the first morning cup. Long-term strategy. Monitoring. Get a checkup once a year. For men, a PSA test and a prostate ultrasound to check protection from polyphenols. For women, a general urinalysis to rule out inflammation and a densicometry for bone density. For everyone over 40 who drinks coffee regularly, 24-hour blood pressure monitoring. Office readings lie, while the device on your wrist will show the truth over the day. Now, frequent questions. First, can you drink coffee with gastritis? Yes, with reservations. Only weak brew and always with milk. It binds acids and reduces their aggressiveness. Only on a full stomach, after a meal, and no more than 1 cup a day. This minimizes harm. Second question, does coffee improve potency? True, indirectly. It improves blood flow, provides a mild antidepressant effect, and removes psychological barriers. But it is not a direct aphrodisiac like herbs or drugs. Do not expect miracles with organic problems. If coffee is not suitable, choose alternatives. Green tea. It has less caffeine, contains L-theanine, and gives calm alertness. Its diuretic effect is less irritating to the bladder lining. Another option is a drink made from dandelion root. No caffeine, with a mild choleretic effect for detox. Bitterish, but the bitterness tones digestion without stimulating the nerves. Now, what does not work? Myth. Neutralizing coffee with a glass of water. This does not reduce bladder irritation, but increases urine volume and frequency of trips to the toilet. Caffeine still acts on the receptors as before. Second, a calcium tablet with coffee. Caffeine reduces absorption by 20 to 30%. The supplement will be wasted. Take it separated by an interval as stated above. Finally, red flags. Call an ambulance for these signs. A sudden dagger-like pain in the epigastrium after a swallow in the stomach area. This is an ulcer perforation, life-threatening. For women, blood in the urine, sudden increased frequency with pain and burning. This is acute cystitis. It requires antibiotics, not rest and herbs. This knowledge helps you act consciously. You take the tool into your hands and decide how to set the terms of the dialogue with a cup of coffee. We have examined coffee's effects in the body. Let's apply the knowledge in practice. Integrate the drink into everyday life for benefit without harm. Use a simple action plan. Set a daily routine. In the morning from 7 to 9 o'clock, drink the first cup of freshly brewed coffee after breakfast. Food will protect the mucosa from acids. First, drink a glass of warm water, eat, then enjoy an espresso or an Americano. At midday, from 12 to 14 hours, for the second serving, choose 1 cup of decaf or green tea. In the evening, after 6 o'clock, drink herbal teas, chamomile, mint, or lemon balm. They will calm the nerves, prepare you for sleep, and preserve electrolyte balance. Make a weekly plan. From Monday to Friday, observe the daily limit. Men, 3 to 4 cups, women, 2 to 3. On Saturday, give yourself a break, only 1 morning cup, then water, herbal infusions or unsweetened compote. This will rest the bladder and the nervous system. On Sunday, try an alternative. Chicory with a bitter taste and a mild toning effect without caffeine, or a barley drink with a gentle bready aroma that does not irritate the stomach. Check your body's reactions with simple tests. The first for bladder sensitivity. Give up coffee for 2 days and count your bathroom visits. If on the 3rd day the frequency drops by 30%, the bladder is reacting to caffeine. The second for tolerance of the heart and blood vessels. Measure your resting pulse while seated, drink your usual cup, and check again after 15 minutes. An increase of 15 to 20 beats per minute or more indicates high sensitivity. Limit yourself to 1 morning serving. Avoid common mistakes. First, coffee immediately after sleep when cortisol is at its peak in the first hour and a half. This adds stress. Wait an hour to an hour and a half so the body can wake up. Second, washing coffee down with ice-cold water, which causes thermal stress and slows absorption. Choose warm water. It will prepare the mucous membrane. Introduce checklists for control. First, safe cup. Before a sip, check. Have you eaten? Have you drunk water? Minimum sugar in the cup? And have you exceeded your limit? Second, warning signs. After coffee, watch for accelerated heartbeat, anxiety, heartburn, or frequent urges. With 2 or more symptoms, reduce the dose by 1 cup a day until everything normalizes. Practice is a mindful dialogue with the body, finding the keys to its comfort without strict prohibitions. Coffee is a tool, like a hammer. Build a house. Hit your fingers. Use it correctly, it will become part of health, not an enemy. For men, coffee helps. It lowers the risk of prostate cancer. It helps maintain tone. An uncontrolled dose makes it an enemy. For women, coffee is harmful. It worsens bladder problems. It accelerates calcium loss, especially after 40 years old. Personalization is the main rule. A safe dose depends on sex, age, genetics, and medical conditions. Coffee reflects our relationship with it. Caffeine is neutral. We define its role. In the hand with a warm cup, mind, life, activity, alertness. Coffee is one. The context in the body changes everything. We'll go through this. In the next video, genetics and coffee. The CYP1A2 gene and the MTHFR C677 mutation affect sensitivity to caffeine. Why some tolerate 10 cups, others none. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it.